JDF seizes over 2,000 pounds of marijuana in major offshore bust. In a significant blow to illegal drug trafficking operations, the Jamaica Defense Force has intercepted a vessel carrying more than 2,000 pounds of marijuana off the coast of Manchester. The contraband, estimated to be worth approximately $45 million, was seized on Tuesday by the JDF's Maritime Air and Cyber Command southwest of Long Bay Beach. According to a statement released to the media, the operation began when JDF Coast Guard personnel were conducting routine patrols along Jamaica's southern coastline. The team detected a suspicious vessel near Farquhar's Beach in Clarendon, triggering an immediate response. What followed was a coordinated pursuit that culminated in the successful interception of the vessel, the JDF reported. Upon conducting a thorough search of the boat, authorities discovered 38 knitted bags containing the illicit substance, along with several 200-gallon fuel drums. 4 individuals were taken into custody in connection with the seizure. The JDF confirmed that both the detainees and the confiscated drugs have been handed over to the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Firearms and Narcotic Investigation Division for further processing and investigation. The operation underscores the continued vigilance of Jamaica's security forces in intercepting illegal narcotics shipments and disrupting drug trafficking routes along the island's coastline. A policewoman, having recorded a statement detailing a planned robbery of the Crossroads post office, admitted under cross-examination that no one who confessed to the plot was ever arrested or charged. The revelation occurred as defense attorneys in the Clansman gang trial intensified their challenge to the handling of statements taken after a September 2018 operation. Initially, 3 men were taken into custody for the attempted robbery. However, none of these men are currently before the court.
Zeroing in on what he says is a fundamental breach of police procedure, defense attorney John Clark on Tuesday pressed the Crown's witness on why a man who admitted to planning the alleged robbery was never cautioned or charged. Clark began by establishing the basis for the arrest of the 3 men during the September 26, 2018 operation. He asked, "Do you know what was the cause for the men to be arrested?" The policewoman replied, "A planned activity on that morning." Clark pressed further, "That planned activity is robbery?" The detective said, "Yes." Clark then turned to what he called one of the golden rules of policing. He asked, "When a person tells you he has committed a crime, you must stop him to caution him. This must be done before he proceeds, right?" The detective answered, "Correct." But when asked whether the man who gave a detailed statement about the planned robbery was cautioned before speaking, the policewoman said, "I informed him of the option of an attorney and he opted to proceed without." Clark questioned, "So telling him about the option of attorney and caution is the same thing?" The witness said that both things are similar. She eventually admitted that she did not use a caution in that sense when she was recording the statement. She acknowledged there is a prescribed manner for cautioning suspects and that there are different cautions for the interviews based on the type of statements taken from an individual. But when asked what type of caution should apply to a statement about a planned robbery, she said she carried out the specific tasks given to her by her superiors. Clark also challenged the policewoman on the implications of the statement itself. Earlier, she had agreed that the man's account of planning the robbery can be perceived as a confession. She also accepted that conspiracy is a crime and that a person involved in a plan to commit robbery is a suspect. Clark asked, "And as a detective, you did nothing about that?" Again, the witness responded, "I followed through with the instructions received from my superiors." She ultimately agreed that no one was arrested or charged for conspiracy or attempted robbery arising from the alleged post office plot. She also testified that, to her knowledge, none of the men who gave statements that day were charged. When it was suggested that those who confessed were never charged while defendant Michael Wildman was later charged, she responded, "I can't say if you're correct or incorrect." The trial is now underway in the Supreme Court. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, Dr. Wayne Henry, states that the country is unlikely to experience a recession despite the significant, unprecedented impact of Hurricane Melissa. Dr. Henry provided this update at the PIOJ's quarterly media briefing held on Tuesday.
While the Jamaican economy remains in a fragile state following Hurricane Melissa, PIOJ Director General Dr. Wayne Henry says a recession is not on the cards at this time.
There are concerns regarding the possibility of an economic recession affecting Jamaica in the short term. However, at this stage, it is not likely that Jamaica will experience an economic recession within the short term, barring any unforeseen shocks.
A recession is a significant, widespread, and prolonged downturn in economic activity, typically marked by 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. But according to Dr. Henry, the current economic circumstances do not meet the technical definition of a recession.
Growth was recorded in the first 3 quarters of 2025, according to official data from Statin. In light of the devastation caused by Hurricane Melissa in the 4th quarter of 2025 and the preliminary estimates presented today, the official figures are expected to reflect a contraction in the October to December 2025 quarter. For the first condition of a recession to be satisfied, a further decline would need to be recorded in the January to March 2026 quarter relative to October to December 2025. However, given the strength of the recovery to date, it is unlikely that the output level for the January to March 2026 quarter will fall below the level recorded in October to December 2025.
Dr. Henry says for calendar year 2025, real value added for GDP was estimated to have remained flat, despite the impact of the hurricane during the final quarter of the year. This is representative of relatively strong outturns in the previous 3 quarters, counterbalancing a 4th quarter that was not as bad as previously expected in 2025. While Dr. Henry believes Jamaica's economy will struggle in the short term, he anticipates incremental improvements as the year continues.
Generally, the prospects for the Jamaican economy for the short term are negative, based on 1, an expectation that the economy will not register year-on-year growth until the October to December 2026 quarter. However, as the recovery gains momentum, each subsequent quarter is anticipated to show progressively smaller rates of contractions.
Six vehicle crash in Portmore leaves 5 injured, including 3 children. A chaotic multi-vehicle collision along the Bridgeport Main Road in Portmore on Wednesday morning has left 5 people injured, 3 of whom are children. The crash occurred shortly after 7 a.m., involving 6 vehicles traveling along the busy thoroughfare during peak morning traffic, according to preliminary reports from investigators. Police reports indicate that the sequence of events began when a Toyota Town Ace traveling east attempted to overtake a line of vehicles. During the overtaking maneuver, the vehicle collided with the front right section of a BMW that was also heading in the same direction and in the process of making a right turn. The force of the impact caused the Toyota Town Ace to overturn. Authorities have confirmed that the vehicle was transporting 3 children at the time of the crash. Emergency responders arrived promptly at the scene and provided medical assistance to the injured. 5 individuals who sustained serious injuries were subsequently transported to hospital for urgent treatment. The scene has since been processed by investigators, though the circumstances surrounding the collision remain under scrutiny, as authorities work to determine the full sequence of events that led to the morning rush hour crash. The number of Jamaicans registered with the diplomatic missions in the Gulf states, specifically the United Arab Emirates and Qatar, has increased to 178. This information was provided by the Foreign Affairs Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith. Following attacks on Iran by the U.S. and Israel over the weekend, tensions have escalated in the Middle East. Iran has subsequently launched retaliatory strikes against U.S. assets in neighboring countries. Jamaicans residing in the region have been urged to take precautionary measures. The minister delivered this update during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing.
I want to advise of the numbers of persons who have registered. In the UAE, we have 85 Jamaicans who have registered, who have made themselves known. Kuwait, 44. Qatar, 40. Bahrain, 6. Saudi Arabia, 1. Oman, 1. And Israel, 1. This is up to 178 as at this morning. As at yesterday afternoon, it was 138. So there are persons who are making themselves known. There are also persons who have been able to leave the region. The UAE has opened some corridors for safe air travel, but the actual airlines and the flights are not only limited, but they are subject to cancellation. I know people keep asking about evacuation. So thus far, we have heard this morning of the British contemplating or moving towards operating some evacuation procedures, and that the French are also similarly considering same. Other than that, all countries have been advising their populations to monitor commercial flight availability within safe airspace notifications and to make personal determinations regarding their safety, but that departure is generally recommended where they feel it is safe. We want to, again, just encourage calm and continued caution in the sources of news that you listen to. The relevant authorities in the Gulf states have been doing an excellent job in ensuring that on social media, clear information is available, and they too are encouraging that you listen only to verified sources, because it is this kind of time where misinformation becomes rife and people seek to take advantage of vulnerabilities and anxiety.